It's Nick Astor with TriplePundit.com here at the 2013 edition of the South by Southwest Eco Conference. I'm here with Jed Davis. You are the Director of Sustainability for Cabot Creamery and Cooperative out of Vermont. And well, I know you guys produce some great cheese, but what about sustainability at your company? Tell me.
Sure. Sustainability is a topic that we really became aware of more from the consumer and the customer side of the world. We, for a long time, confused the idea of sustainability with our, structure as a cooperative. Mm-hmm. The nice thing about a cooperative is that, it's people banding together to do something they can't do by themselves, and in this case, includes notions like working landscape and continuing to keep local farms and communities and such. Mm-hmm. We realized at a point in time that our understanding of sustainability was just here, and we needed to adjust that. So about 5 years ago, we created a full-time position for Director of Sustainability to try and align that in a way that really communicates better with all of our different stakeholder groups about what we're trying to accomplish.
Now that's great, because I would argue that, that cooperative spirit is very much a part of sustainability. I would consider sustainability to be sort of an umbrella under which that's included. Tell me though, when you talk about expanding your definition of the term, what are the other things that you're now thinking about or including under that umbrella?
Sure, and you're absolutely right. There were a number of things we were doing that are entirely consistent with a sustainability program. I think what we learned was that we didn't quite have the vocabulary down, and there were certain key elements that were just completely absent. A great example is it had never occurred to us, to do some sort of carbon footprint to figure out what, our inventory of greenhouse gas emissions is. And so some procedural things that we really wanted to button down, we were able to put into place. But at the end of the day, we're very much of a multiple bottom line approach to sustainability. And we recognize that, especially when we're talking about dairy farms and all, some of the social inputs that they create are every bit as important as providing nourishing food in the form of milk and ultimately that we turn into cheese. And obviously there are also environmental aspects that we try to stay very much on top of. Out of that, we've evolved a sustainability pledge, if you will, which we've articulated as living within our means and ensuring the means to live, which speaks to sort of both sides of the commitment, that we're mindful of the resources we use, but also are mindful of the investments that it's incumbent upon us to make.
And what are some of the things that you're finding that you're spending a lot of time managing or learning that you need to manage? I mean, carbon footprint's sort of the obvious first one, but are there other things?
I would say the main category is opportunity. And what I love about my job is that half of my job relates to working with our dairy farmers, because as owners of our cooperative, that's an important stakeholder group. Another portion relates to working at the creamery, working with our facilities people, our operations folks, on ways we can do things better. And then also because we are, a consumer-facing brand, because people find Cabot out in their dairy aisles or in their specialty shops, I also get to work with some of our customers as well to make sure that their sustainability priorities and our own are at least known to one another, if not actually able to work in hand.
And, it's interesting to me. I've always found that cheese is one of those products that attracts people that are particularly conscientious about what they eat, not just about quality, but also about this greater thing we're calling sustainability. Is the farm properly managed? Is it coming from a cooperative where folks are, well taken care of, et cetera, et cetera? I'm not sure why cheese is always one of those leading products, but I'm curious if you had any thoughts of that. Is there something particular about cheese that seems to get people excited about talking about the sustainability of what they eat?
Well, I think what's interesting about cheese is, first of all, it's somewhat ubiquitous. I think the data is somewhere around 97% of kitchen refrigerators have some cheese in it. And so people are familiar with it. There's a high level of familiarity. Cheese is always also incredibly flexible. You can snack on it, you can cook with it, you can do so many different things with it. But then the cheeses themselves, there's a broad range. I mean, there are some at one end there are many mass-produced cheeses. At the other end there are some really interesting and unique cheeses in the sort of specialty artisanal side that really provide incredible flavor and deliver on the promise of a really spectacular cheese. So that whole notion of all of these different sorts of experiences within one little narrow cheese category, and at the same time, the artisanal side certainly is spot on with a real renaissance and interest in our food systems. And the notion of handmade or styles of the old days that are continuing to be used to create food today is very, very popular. So for us, we're a cooperative that's been around for almost a century now. It's nice to see that interest in food at the same time that, we hope that we're showing up in a lot of places where people can find us, although sadly not in your local store. We'll keep working on that.
We'll work on it.
Yeah.
Marvelous. And for folks who want to learn a little bit more about what Cabot's doing, are you putting out a sustainability report? Is the info on the website? We
have information on our website. We haven't done a formal voluntary external report yet, but the website is www.cabotcheese.coop. So we'd certainly invite people to come take a look.
Wonderful. Jed, thanks very much for your time.
You're entirely welcome, Nick.
Okay.